After months of intense diplomatic debate and delay, a significant shipment of German Taurus KEPD 350 cruise missile has been confirmed to have arrived in Ukraine and entered active service. The long-range stealth missiles, with a published range of over 500 kilometers, represent a substantial upgrade in Ukraine's deep strike capability, allowing its force to theoretically target command centers, logistic hubs, and valuable assets far behind the traditional front line, including within Russian-occupied Crimea. Ukrainian military spokesperson have thanked Germany for finally fulfilling this key request, emphasizing that the weapon system will be integrated into existing Ukrainian Air Force platform. The deployment of these missiles fulfill critical items on Ukraine's wish list, though analysts caution that their impact will depend on the number of missiles delivered and the frequency with which they can be deployed against high-value targets. Russian officials had repeatedly warned that the transfer of these weapons would cross a red line, threatening severe consequences should they be used against targets on Russian soil. In a stark and immediate response to the Taurus deployment, Russian forces launched a devastating coordinated attack on Ukraine's capital. Several hypersonic Kinzhal aeroballistic missiles launched from MiG-31K aircraft, along with a barrage of Shahed-136 drones, struck a government district in Kyiv. One missile scored a direct hit on a section of the Cabinet of Ministers building, causing significant structural damage and starting a major fire. Preliminary reports from emergency service indicate that the strike resulted in casualties among civilians, government workers, and security personnel. The attack occurred during the working day, maximizing the potential for disruption and loss of life. The Russian Ministry of Defense stated the strike was a direct retaliation for the arrival of the Taurus missiles and was aimed at degrading Ukraine's military and political command and control infrastructure. The bombing marks one of the most audacious attacks on the heart of the Ukrainian government since the early days of the invasion. The escalation reached an unprecedented and alarming new level with Russia's confirmed use of an Intercontinental Ballistic Missile (ICBM) in the conflict for the first time. According to statements from the Ukrainian Air Force and analysis by international weapons expert, a Russian Rs-28 Sarmat heavy ICBM, a weapon designed to carry multiple nuclear warheads across continents, was launched from its base and struck a target in western Ukraine. While the Russian military claimed the massive missile was armed with a conventional, non-nuclear warhead and was used to destroy deeply buried command bunkers, the implications of its use are profound. The deployment of a strategic nuclear delivery vehicle for conventional strike is seen by Western officials as a form of nuclear signaling, a dramatic demonstration of Russia's advanced arsenal intended to terrorize the Ukrainian population and warn NATO nations against further deepening their support. The move blurs the line between conventional and nuclear warfare in a way that has profoundly disturbed global security experts. The administration of President Donald Trump was compelled to address these severe escalation. Secretary of Defense Peter Hegseth held a press conference where he condemned the attack on Kyiv's government quarters but focused his remark on the use of the Sarmat ICBM. Hegseth labeled the act a reckless provocation that changed the character of the conflict. He stated that the United States is monitoring the situation closely and is in consultation with allies, but he pointedly did not outline any specific new military or policy response. The administration's caution reflects a delicate balancing act, needing to respond to a major escalation while avoiding any action that could be misinterpreted by Moscow. As a move toward direct confrontation, the focus remains on diplomatic channels, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio reportedly engaging in back-channel communications to convey Washington's grave concern. For Ukraine, today's event represents a devastating paradox. The arrival of a powerful new weapon system was immediately met with a punishing retaliation that struck at the symbolic and functional core of its government. The use of an ICBM, a weapon of global strategic significance, on Ukrainian territory has created a sense of shock and vulnerability, raising fear that Russia is abandoning any remaining constraint in its conduct of the war. Military analysts note that while the Taurus missile is a potent addition, its value is somewhat diminished if Ukraine must husband its limited supply and if its use invites such a disproportionate and destructive response from Russia. The government in Kyiv now faces the difficult task of integrating this new capability in a way that yields strategic benefit without provoking further catastrophic attacks on its civilian and government infrastructure. The international reaction has been one of uniform condemnation for the strikes on Kyiv and profound alarm over the ICBM use. The United Nations Security Council has convened an emergency sessions at the request of France and the United Kingdom. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg issued a statement calling the attack on government building in Kyiv a blatant violation of international laws and the use of a strategic ballistic missile a dangerous and irresponsible escalation. However, the alliance response remained constrained to political and diplomatic measures, with no member states suggesting a military counteraction. The events have solidified a grim new reality in the conflict, where the provision of each new advanced weapon system to Ukraine is met with an increasingly severe and technological advanced Russian response, pushing the war into a more dangerous and unpredictable phase with global implication. That's all for me for today. If you like the video presentation and you would like to follow for more, hit that subscribe and like button now, and we will continue to build this show for you. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye for now.